Welcome back to Squawk Box. Elon Musk taking some heat again this morning. Tesla shareholder, the Office of the New York City Comptroller, sending a letter to Tesla's board expressing concerns after Musk supported anti-Semitic conspiracy theory on social media, that platform of X that he owns, formerly known as Twitter. The letter reminding Tesla's board that any social media behavior of its employees is a direct reflection of where the company stands on issues. Joining us right now is New York City Comptroller Brad Lander. Brad, it's good to see you this morning. Help us understand your thinking about this. There's been a whole bunch of folks obviously concerned about some of the comments that Elon made last week. He's since appeared to change tack and to try to clarify those comments. I wonder whether you think that clarification is enough.
I really don't. I mean, supporting this white replacement theory that Jews are out to replace white people is just an old anti-Semitic canard. What has to be done is that tweet's got to be taken down. He's got to take responsibility for it and do some work to stop the hate that's surging on the platform.
In terms of your role, though, as it relates to being a fiduciary as a shareholder of Tesla, there's two questions I have. Is there any part of you that says, you know what, maybe we know about Elon Musk. We know he owns X. We know he's outspoken on lots of issues. He has said lots of controversial things, and this is not to excuse any of them. Maybe you say to yourself, I don't want to own that stock, or you go in eyes wide open knowing that, or is your view that you think the shareholders are going to be able to change his behavior, which I think is going to be very hard?
Well, first, I'd like to distinguish between, Twitter and Tesla. Tesla's a good stock. We're glad to own it. It's done very well for us. We like to see people buying electric vehicles and the stock price reflecting it. But very few companies are as identified with their founder, with their CEO as Tesla is. It's identified with Musk. And if it becomes to be identified as an anti-Semitic or hate-filled brand, that could be a real problem. So, yes, it is a fiduciary issue. And I think what the board needs to do is, yes, try to hold Musk accountable, get him to take responsibility, get him to make change at Twitter. But if he won't do that, then they need to signal this company is not Elon Musk. We have the ability to sanction him, to show that the company does not share, support for this anti-Semitic action. And I guess what I would say is, if you're asking if it's possible that I feel emotional about this as a Jewish person watching hate surge around, fair enough. I really do. At the same time, it's entirely consistent with fiduciary duty for Tesla shareholders to say to the board, show that you do not support the anti-Semitic action taken by the CEO.
Have you had any response from Tesla's board? And have you reached out to Tesla before about other issues?
Oh, yeah, we're in good dialogue. Look, we're $946 million in Tesla. Honestly, it's a stock that we've been proud to own, partly because it's made good money for our shareholders and partly because it is an important part of our broader decarbonization and work toward net zero. So we've engaged with the Tesla board in the past. We do not yet have a response to this letter. I know other shareholders have reached out as well. Look, I got to believe members of the Tesla board don't like this. One of the things I saw in their code of ethics was don't take actions that won't make you and your family proud. And this could not make Tesla board members and their families proud. Will it be easy for them to hold Elon Musk, the CEO and founder of the company, accountable? I don't think it'll be easy, but they know it's the right thing to do, and we're just pleading with them to do so.
Let me ask you a separate question just about your role as a fiduciary. We were talking even earlier about the nonprofit status of OpenAI versus a for-profit status, what your not-for-profit status could be to a fiduciary, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of the topics that you and I and Joe and Becky have talked about over the years have been social issues where you have raised social issues in the name of fiduciary issues. Is that, I don't know if you think that's a fair thing to say, but there's also been
I guess what I would say here
on
is
that very concept.
Well, what I would say here is that the risk is reputational. There is financial risk to Tesla of becoming associated with anti-Semitic remarks. Tesla buyers are forward-looking. They don't want to buy a car that gets associated that way. How big is that reputational risk? That's an appropriate conversation for the board to have. For us to raise it, though, as shareholders and say, as shareholders, we think this is a fiduciary concern that the board should represent shareholders and address with the CEO. That's what shareholder governance actually is all about. Yes, it's got to be fiduciary, but it's about responsible management, oversight of the management of the company. That can be true on climate, that can be true on workers' rights, and it sure could be true on swelling hate that is a risk to your brand.